In this tutorial, we're going to use Adobe Illustrator CC 2020 to continue with Classroom in a Book Chapter 6. This is Part 2. In Part 1, we went ahead and created this camp logo, and in this one, we're going to work out the rest of this element. So let's go ahead and go back into our artboards, and this time we're going to go ahead and play with our pencil tool. So let's go ahead and with our pencil tool, let's go ahead to our artboard number 2. It says pencil, and we're going to go ahead and draw the fire and the log elements. So let's go ahead, grab our pencil from underneath the brush, and let's go ahead and play with some of our options in there. So let's go ahead and double click that tool to get the dialog box, and let's go ahead and bump that all the way to smooth. Let's go ahead and make sure our keep selected is checked, that our closed paths are within 15 pixels, and say OK. Alright, let's go ahead and choose our colors. Our fill right now is going to be set to none. And let's go ahead and make our stroke that same dark gray that we had before. So we'll go to our stroke, that second one over. And let's go ahead and make our points at a 3-point stroke, so nice and thick. And we are happy with it. So now if we move our pointer next to the document image, we'll see a little asterisk appear. So we're going to go ahead and start here on this point labeled A, and we're going to drag clockwise along this dash template. It's okay if you miss, because we're going to show you how to fix it. So I'm going to go ahead and drag. I'm going to try and trace this as close as I can, and you can see I'm kind of going out of lines. That's okay. I'm doing a little bit sloppy on purpose so I can show you the next part. Alright, so because we have our thing set to close, as soon as we got relatively close, it went ahead and closed that for us. So it doesn't look perfectly smooth. It does smooth itself out. We can redraw elements. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to redraw from here. I'm just going to go ahead and, oops, wow, that's really awful. Undo. I'm going to go ahead and try this again. So as we get in here again, we should get the little asterisk. This should tell us that we're going to go ahead and pick up the path that we had before. So come on. Control plus and zoom in. Alright, so I've got my asterisk. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and try and do a better job than I did before. Oh, well, I'm just going to go ahead and redraw it. Alright, let's go ahead and should be able to just press and drag as the asterisk appears. I'm going to go ahead and retrace this whole section. And you can tell I'm not much of an artist either. Alright, so it got a little bit better. So get to the point where you like it, and let's go ahead and change that fill over to be some type of red. Do a control minus and zoom out. And you can redraw that as many times as you like. For my purposes, I'm not too worried about it. So let's go ahead and figure out how to draw some straight lines. So let's come down here to the bottom. We're going to start here at the red dot, and we're going to go ahead and trace up to the blue dot. And we're going to let go. Wow, that's awful. Let's undo and Z. Alright, let's try it one more time. And if I could draw anything, it would be amazing, huh? Alright, so I'm going to get here. I'm going to go and release my button. Now I'm going to go ahead and drag over to this one, but I'm not going to release my mouse button. I'm going to go ahead and hit Option or Alt as I draw. It's going to make sure I draw a pretty straight line. I'm going to go ahead and let go of Alt, but I'm not going to let go of the mouse. Go ahead and come down that second side of the log, down to the purple dot, hit Alt, and come on over, and you'll get that closed path. Of course, you can always go back in and switch those and fix it up, but it is a log, and I'm not too worried about it. Let's go ahead and grab the, change that fill color to be some type of brown. And let's go ahead, grab our selection tool, grab the fire from up above, and bring it down here onto our log. It's tucked behind right now, so let's do an arrange, bring to front. So it's going to go ahead and bring those elements together. And let's go ahead and drag something across both of those, and let's group them. And let's do an edit copy. And let's go ahead to our next artboard. and we're going to go ahead and paste it in there. So let's go edit and paste. It's going to go ahead and bring it in. So let's go ahead and drag it up into this element here. And next thing we're going to do is create kind of a center section for that fire. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to play with this yellow part. Let's go ahead, select it, and change to our direct selection tool. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Control plus a few times. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors tool, which is behind your eraser if you don't have it. And we're going to go ahead and come over here. When we see the word kind of anchor, we want to go ahead and we're going to cut it right there. So we're going to go drag that's up from and to the right a little bit. So let's go ahead, click and drag up, and it's going to go ahead and, all right, just right to the anchor. All right, grab our selection, direct selection, grab anchor. All right, grab scissors and it just doesn't want to behave today. All right, so I've got my direct selection tool. Selecting on here. I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to select scissors. All right, I'm going to move my pointer over the top anchor. We're going to see the word anchor, we're going to click the path to hit click it there. All right, so now we're going to drag that anchor point. We're going to grab that direct selection again. And we should be able to drag that anchor point which didn't cut. This is my day, isn't it? Alright, so now it's cut there. You can kind of see right now. So let's go ahead now, grab my drag selection and drag that up here and drag the other one up because we're kind of making that center. And I've got a little piece of black here. That's okay. We'll deal with that in a little while. Alright, so you probably shouldn't have had that, but I'm going to go ahead and, I'll mess with it later when we move it. Alright, so I've got my two parts. I'm going to go ahead and grab my direct selection and drag across my 2 points right here at the top. And let's go ahead and we need to straighten those out. So we've took our direct selection across, and we want to go ahead and convert those anchor points. So come over to your properties and convert points to corner. So now we've got a nice straight one there. And the next thing we're going to do is we need to join those paths. So let's go ahead to our edit toolbar down here at the bottom. And we want this join tool, which is about halfway through. Go ahead and drag that up to be kind of in your pencil area. So when you've got your join, you can hit escape and hide those extras. We've got our join tool. With it now selected, we're going to drag it across the two ends. So we're going to drag it across these two ends to tell it to combine those two. And let's do a view, fit artboard and window. So we've got our little fire, we've got a little piece there. You shouldn't necessarily have it. When we drag it across, we're called scrubbing, and we add those together. So let's go ahead and grab our selection tool and grab that path right there, move it kind of here toward the middle. And we need to arrange, bring to front. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that little tiny piece that we had extra. And now we're going to go ahead and grab the words camp with our selection tool and bring it up. And let's do an arrange, bring to front. And you have created kind of a fun campfire type of element. Let's do a Control S and save what we've got so far. Alright, the last thing we're going to do is play with these arrowheads over in the outdoor adventure. Let's grab this path, let's do a shift and grab the other path as well. Let's go ahead and grab from our word stroke. Let's go ahead and where it says arrowheads, let's first change our stroke weight to be 3 points. From arrowheads, for the start one, let's go ahead and make it arrow number 5. And it's a little bit too big, so let's change that scale down to about 70%. For the end one, we want to go ahead and have an end arrow, so I think it's like arrow 17 is what they want, but if you like something else, I'm going to choose 17 and take my scaling down. So you can play with those, make them whatever you want. And I'm going to hit tab, go to the next one, and instead of having pink, I'm going to go ahead and make them white. So there you go. It's pretty easy to convert those different types of lines into different elements. You can do a Control S and save. And let's go ahead. You could do a file. You want to package it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my lesson 6 so I don't lose it. Classroom to Book, Chapter 6. I'm going to select that folder. Instead of the name folder, I'm going to name it PKG. And I'm going to say package. It's going to go ahead and say show the package. I'm going to look at it. Within that folder I should have my one called fonts, which should include my phosphates and my other elements. And I should have my document. I'm then going to go back out, do my right click on the one that says PKG, right click, and send to compressed folder, and that is the one I'm going to be using for my document later. So when you're ready to convert these into your ad, what I would do is grab my selection tool. Maybe I'm going to use this one. I would group it and copy it and paste it into my ad so I could play with it at a later date when it comes to those elements. So I'm looking forward to seeing just how amazing you are at artists and how much better your fire looks than mine does. That's all for this one.